Learn to get what you want from women 99% of the time. According to Machiavelli, it's not luck, it's not games, it's not manipulation. It's a system that this genius of strategy developed years ago, and it works because it understands the true nature of power and influence. While other men beg and fail, you're going to master the techniques used by the most powerful princes in history. The first secret I'm going to reveal to you right now will destroy everything you thought you knew about how to get what you want from a woman. Why do most men fail miserably when they try to get something from a woman? Because they make the most basic mistake of all. They act like beggars instead of leaders. Machiavelli wrote in The Prince that it is better to be feared than loved. But applied to relationships, this translates into something much more powerful. It's better to be respected than needed. Here's the first secret that will change your life forever. Women don't respond to requests. They respond to expectations. When you ask a woman, "Can I take you out?" you've already lost. When you say, "Would you like to go to the movies with me?" you've already put yourself in a lower position. You're asking permission. Oh, that you're begging. You're transferring all the power to her. True leaders don't ask. They communicate their intentions. Machiavelli understood that whoever controls the narrative controls the outcome. Instead of asking, declare, "On Friday, I'm going to that new restaurant downtown. Come with me." It's not a question. It's an invitation that assumes interest. It's not arrogance. It's leadership. Why does this work so brutally well? Because it activates something primitive in female psychology. Women are biologically programmed to respond to confidence and leadership. When you act with expectation instead of supplication, you give her two clear options. Either she offers an alternative, showing genuine interest, or she politely declines, saving you valuable time. But here's what most men don't understand. If she doesn't respond or doesn't show interest, don't insist. Don't send another message. Don't try to convince her. Leaders don't chase, they attract. If a woman doesn't value your initial leadership, thousands of others will. Real power comes from the ability to walk away without neediness. Machiavelli knew that perceived power is as important as real power. When a woman sees that you don't need her validation to feel complete, your value multiplies in her mind. Think about this. How many times have you seen a CEO asking permission to make decisions? Never. Leaders assume, they act, and others follow. If you truly want different results, you must adopt the mindset of the leader Machiavelli described, someone who knows what he wants and communicates that certainty without apology. If this is blowing your mind and you want to completely master these principles, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because what's coming in the next few minutes will be even more devastating. I'm going to teach you the secret language no woman can resist, the exact words that make her emotional brain activate automatically without her even realizing what's happening. Now that you understand the power of expectations instead of begging, you need to master something even more devastating. The secret language that activates a woman's emotional brain without her noticing. Machiavelli wrote that men judge more by their eyes than their hands. But when it comes to women, they judge more by emotions than by logic. Here's the mistake 95% of men make. They try to convince women with facts, data, and logic. They say, "I'm stable, responsible, have a good job, I'll treat you well." Brother, that's not seduction. That's a job interview. Women don't choose with their heads, they choose with their hearts, and then justify that decision with their minds. The secret language Machiavelli used to influence the most powerful courts of Europe was based on one simple truth. Emotions move people, not arguments. When you want to spark interest in a woman, you have to activate her curiosity, her intrigue, her inner challenge. Don't tell her what you are. Make her feel something with you. Instead of boring questions like, "What do you do?" or "Where are you from?" use intriguing statements that force her to respond. For example, you've got that look of a woman who secretly has a rebellious side. This isn't a question, it's a statement that creates intrigue and challenges her to reveal something about herself. Why does this work so brutally well? Because you're activating her need to prove something, to show you who she really is. Women have a deep psychological need to be understood and discovered, not interrogated like a living resume. If a woman ignores you, most men make the same fatal mistake, chasing after her. But Machiavelli understood something that modern men have forgotten: how to use her own game against her so she ends up chasing you. Real power is not gained by begging, but with calculated indifference. I'll reveal why her silence is not accidental, but a deliberate strategy to measure your emotional strength. Because when you master these principles, you don't lose a woman, you turn her into your admirer. So hit like on this video and let's get to what really matters. Have you ever wondered why a woman who seemed interested suddenly turns into a ghost? Here's the raw truth you need to hear. That silence is no coincidence. It's a calculated test of your emotional strength. She's measuring how desperate you get when attention is withdrawn. Machiavelli wrote about the art of political warfare, but his principles apply perfectly to modern seduction. He knew that whoever controls the narrative controls the power. And when a woman ignores you, she's trying to write your story for you, the story of a man who begs for attention. But not all silences are the same, and here's where most men crash. There are three specific types you must recognize as if you were a strategist reading the battlefield. First is the test silence. She still watches your stories, but doesn't reply to your messages. She sent signals of interest, but now plays hard to get. Like a general letting the enemy make the first move to study their strategy. She wants to see if you'll chase her or hold your ground. Second is the processing silence. She completely disappears from social media, doesn't respond to anyone. Something happened in her personal life, and she needs mental space. This silence is not about you, it's about her internal battles. Third is the rejection silence. Dry responses, constant excuses, total coldness. She already decided there's no future, but wants you to get the hint. It's her way of saying no without direct confrontation. Now, how do you respond to each type? Here comes the master move that separates real men from desperate boys. You respond the same way to all three. You don't chase, you don't decode, you don't beg. You simply mirror her energy like a perfect reflection. If she takes 4 hours to reply, you take 4 hours. If she cancels plans, you make others without drama. If she's cold, you stay calm but distant. This completely disarms her strategy because you can't manipulate someone who doesn't play the game. The key is understanding that her silence is information, not instruction. She's showing you exactly who she is and how she operates. But real mastery isn't just about recognizing patterns. It's about what you do while keeping that calculated indifference. Do you know the biggest mistake men make when applying the mirror technique? They just stand there waiting like statues, believing that ignoring her alone will make them win. But that's not strategy. That's passivity disguised as tactics. Here's where Machiavellian philosophy becomes brilliant. Machiavelli didn't just talk about defending against the enemy. He talked about strengthening yourself while the enemy weakens. While she plays her silence games, you build your personal empire. When you mirror her energy, the time you reclaim is not for sitting on the couch sulking. It's your golden moment to become the most powerful version of yourself. While she's waiting for your desperate reaction, you're in the mind forging discipline. While she's checking if you saw her story, you're focused on your career building abundance. While she's playing with your mind, you're with friends building a solid social life. See the pattern? Every hour she spends trying to manipulate you is an hour you invest in becoming more valuable. It's like an exchange where she loses energy and you multiply it. But here comes the most powerful psychological twist. When you start posting photos from the gym, from your projects, from outings with friends, something changes in her mind. She starts to see that her silence didn't destroy you. It pushed you forward. That triggers what psychologists call loss aversion. Her brain starts calculating. Wait, this man was supposed to chase me, to beg, to show me how much he needs me, but he's getting better without me. What if he really doesn't need me? What if he finds someone better while I'm playing games? Look, If this kind of content is opening your eyes about how power dynamics really work in relationships, hit like and subscribe because what's coming next will completely change your perspective on handling these situations. Always remember, people resist requests, but they embrace opportunities to prove who they are. But all of this collapses if you make the single most fatal mistake, the one that instantly kills all your power and makes her lose respect for you forever: negotiating for attention. If you ever find yourself trying to convince a woman to pay attention to you, to reply, to value you, brother, you lost the war before the battle even began. Machiavelli had a golden rule with the princes and kings of his time. If you have to convince someone of your value, it's because you don't have it. This brutal truth applies especially in relationships. The moment you start explaining why you deserve her time, why she should reply, why she should care, you've already destroyed your position. Have you ever seen a millionaire begging people to recognize his wealth? Have you ever seen a lion trying to convince other animals he's the king of the jungle? Never. Real value doesn't need to be explained. It's demonstrated through actions and presence. When a woman doesn't reply and you send another message explaining why she should, you've destroyed your leadership. When she gets distant and you ask what's wrong, you've handed away all your power. Leaders don't chase, they don't explain, they don't negotiate for respect. Here are the 3 unbreakable rules of the Machiavellian leader. The mirror rule: you give her exactly the same energy she gives you, once. If she's cold, you're cold. If she pulls away, you pull away further. But here's the key: you do it once as a mirror, then you walk away completely. No second chances for drama. Eliminate pick-me energy forever. Never try to prove why you're better than other men. Never compete for her attention. Never beg, plead, or lower yourself for her validation. The moment you enter choose me mode, you lose all masculine authority. Absolute abundance mindset. Always, always, always act as if you have unlimited options. Because the truth is you do. There are millions of amazing women in the world. If one doesn't value what you offer, another will. This isn't arrogance, it's mathematical reality. Machiavelli wrote, "It's better to be cruel once than to be cruel 1,000 times." Applied to relationships, it's better to walk away with dignity once than to suffer 1,000 small humiliations trying to get something from someone who clearly doesn't value you. When a woman sees that you don't need her to feel complete, that you can walk away without drama, that you have the power to say no to disrespect, you instantly multiply your value tenfold in her mind. Women respect men who respect themselves enough to walk away when they are not valued. Real power doesn't come from getting any specific woman. Real power is being the kind of man that any high-quality woman would want to win over. When you shift your focus from trying to get her to becoming someone worthy of being pursued, everything changes. If she doesn't reply, don't insist. If she cancels without offering another date, don't reschedule. If she disrespects you, don't tolerate it. You simply walk away in silence and keep building your empire. Kings don't chase. They are chased. Remember, your ability to walk away is your greatest power. When a woman knows you're willing to lose her if she doesn't value you, paradoxically, she will do everything to avoid losing you. But this only works if you're truly willing to walk away. If you truly understand that your peace of mind is worth more than any specific person. Now you have the complete system Machiavelli would have used in the modern world. You have the power of expectations, the secret emotional language, the systems that inspire giving, and the unbreakable rules of leadership. It's time to become the prince of your own life. Now you have in your hands the complete system that turns ordinary men into irresistible leaders. Expectations instead of begging, the secret emotional language, the systems to inspire giving, and the unbreakable rules of masculine power. Machiavelli changed the world with these principles. Now you can change your life. If this blew your mind, leave it in the comments and subscribe to the channel. because the secrets coming next are going to be even more devastating. Don't miss the transformation that's about to begin.